Good morning, welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Right now, what you're seeing is a steering device, steering wheel. This is what I've been doing. If any of you are here and don't really know why I'm behind the wheel all the time lately, it's because my driver, Carl, quit. He decided that he would go work for somebody else. Now, I was okay with that decision. There was a couple of things I wasn't okay about, and I'm actually going to call him up and express to him my opinions on how he left and what he did when he left, and we will end it there. He called me the other day, kind of took me by surprise, and I wasn't in the mood to say the things that I'd like to say to him. But anyway, if you don't know, it is not going to happen planting right now. There's a reason for that. And the reason is it's raining. And I mean raining. It rained all night last night. Just as hard as it could rain. Now, I didn't put on any nitrogen on the corn ground, but I did put on some potash on the home farm. You'll see a little bit of a video on that probably today on the One Lonely Farmer channel. This road is pure Pennsylvania. Rougher than a bear's ass and your sister's ass too. It is tough. But anyway, rained here all night too. Yeah, right. So I watched the Millennial Farmer here on my way down. He had a really long video, and I figured I'll just fill up my drive down watching videos or listening to videos. So I got my head device on, and I can hear really good, and it's just really a good thing because I got the head device on and I got my hearing aids in, and that just makes it all the easier to listen to what's going on. I don't watch, but man, did he get some new shit or what? I gotta say, damn, everything from seed tenders to tractors and planters and all sorts of stuff like that. And that's really good for him. I'm happy that he was able to procure those implements. Problem with that is that's like a bait and switch, because as we know, that this YouTube thing is a temporary thing. It's a lot of fun when it's happening, and but it's not going to last forever. Just look at my channel. It's not top channel anymore. Not that I ever really expected it to be or wanted it to be, but it was for a very long time. And it is what it is. And I'm glad that the people that are here are here. But what happens when you get people giving you new stuff to use? You get used to it, and you don't want to give it back. You don't want to give it back, and that's when shit gets real expensive because you kind of like, well, do I use the demo unit and buy the demo unit for like a few 30,000 off, or do I go out and buy a brandy spanking new one? And that could happen to him, or maybe not. I think he's smart enough to figure that one up. Here's a guy, John Deere. Good morning from Azarona. Well, John Deere, good morning. Anyway, I touched on this a little bit last night, and I'm sorry if you can't see my full, beautiful face, but I touched on this a little bit last night when I was on Instagram Live, and there's people asking me all the time, "Are you getting free stuff? Are you getting new equipment? Are you getting? Are you getting? Are you getting?" Well, fact of the matter is, no, I am not. I'm trying to get a newer tractor to run a stack wagon, but the the powers that be are home, and I don't have that kind of cash floating around to go and purchase this said machine. I guess I could just go use Deere financing, but I probably may. I may just buy a brand new tractor. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking about it. Thinking about it. Thinking a 7,000 series over the 6,000, but the 6,000 series with a loader on it would be perfect. But anyway, I don't have the cash or the know how to do it, and I'll show that in another video. I got a letter yesterday, and the letter stated that due to COVID-19 or the Wuhan virus, mushroom sales have plummeted to the point where we're going to pay you less for your material. And okay, I was told this about a little over a month ago, that this COVID-19 thing is going to impact the mushroom industry and cause a bunch of trouble. So let's not haul any hay in for 3 weeks. So it was a solid 2 weeks, and then I was allowed to load a week in for the 2 mushroom barns. So that's 2 loads, which is nothing. I can't even pay the fuel bill on that. But yeah, if you don't know, I haul somewhere between 5 and 10 loads a week to the mushroom barn, depending on what time of year it is. And this year, WT Farm Girl, how are you today? Not good. They pay less than what they never. Yeah, and this was contracted price, and they haven't offered me a new contract yet this year. They're like, we're getting it together. So they knocked the price down $5 a ton. $5 a ton over 25 is 125 bucks. $125 is the fuel that it costs to get the load of material to its destination. Well, you know, I would love to sell to a horse farm. The problem is it becomes I give to horse farms because those motherfuckers don't know how to pay their fucking bill. They're just assholes. So I'd rather take a $5 pay cut than sell or give hay to a horse farm. I hate horse people. Horse people are the most useless pieces of shit this side of the Mississippi River. I'm not sure about on the other side of the Mississippi, but this side of the Mississippi, they are assholes. They're more interested in their fancy car that they got in the garage and their fancy pickup truck and fancy horse trailer that everybody sees. And when it comes down to the lifeblood of what actually bought that shit for them, the hay that fed those worthless animals, they just don't know how to pay that farmer. And when you come in with a credit card reader and say, before I unload this, you're going to pay the bill, they look at you like you got 3 heads. What, isn't my check good enough? And the answer has been, as of the last 6 years or so, yes, your check sucks. It's made of rubber. It bounces down the road. It doesn't do me any good to give me bad checks. Now, I've got a couple of dairymen, too. One I know will pay the bill. The other one I'm leery on. I'm not in it too deep, about $5,000. So that's it for the dairy industry as well. You know, I don't get it. You know, I don't get it. So, you know, unless I get money pretty rapidly, I'm not dealing with those guys. Well, I'll deal with the one, but the other one, no. I'm done with that. That ship has sailed. So I hope I've answered your question on will I sell the dairyman. Now, what I may do is make some really nice hay like I did last year and sold to these dairymen. And, you know, I mean, $115 a bale for the hay was actually pretty reasonable because there's 45 little bales in there. 45 little bales. So it's like $2.50 a bale. Not even $2.50 a bale. I'm running the Vision right now. Let's tell by greenies to insulate their houses. I don't. They can use mushrooms to insulate their houses. I've heard that before. Jesus Christ, Pennsylvania, will you fix your goddamn roads? Corn planter is 99.9% ready to roll. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm off topic here. I don't even know what my topic was, but yeah. Anyway, that was it. What was I going to talk about? Shit, you got WT Farm Girl. You got me all screwed up. I don't even know what in the hell I was talking about until you brought up a very passionate subject. Horses. I hate them. So, oh yeah, I know what the subject was. No, they were reducing the price. So, they reduced the price. They reduced it $5 a ton, $125 per load, or 120 to $125 per load. That's a lot. It's your fault. You know it's your fault. Go back and cook some sugar, will you? Anyways, use coal. It leaves a nice taste in your mouth. Coal and maple syrup. Dinosaurs and maple syrup. Get her done. Anyway, what the hell was I? God damn it, you did it again. Anyway, so they cut down the price for a little bit, but my eyes, you know these things right here? My eyes. You're going to send me burnt syrup? That was good syrup, by the way. Buy WT Farm Girl syrup. Pay extra for it. It's really good. Anyway, and I'm not a maple syrup lover. I really don't care for it, but I have had it and it's good. You can even sweeten your tea with it. Mm-mm. Anyway, but I wouldn't drink it out of the bottle. Not now. Anyway, Jesus again. So my eyes are telling me something very different about what's going on these wharfs. So a month and a half ago, month ago, no, a month and a half ago, yeah, a month and a half ago, month and a week ago, 5 weeks ago, I got laid off from taking hay in. And that really hurts the finances because in that month and a half, it's about, oh, let's see, 1 to 5, it's about $75,000. So $75,000 worth of income gone, So it wasn't 75 because they allowed me to bring in, and that's just me hauling one load a day. Now, Timothy can haul as well, but they've cut him out completely. So we're really kind of hurting there. It could be anywhere from 50 to $100,000 a week or a month. That's about what it takes to make the farm run and all the material that goes through that. I don't like talking about money, but that's what happens. So people are talking about the PPP and how that Paycheck Protection Plan money, and how I'm going to receive that. It's free money and everything else. Well, the way I see it is it's a loan. Uh, I don't know if, I mean, I qualify for the loan. I really do because I have 4 employees that are on the books. I don't pay myself. I don't. I don't draw an income from the business myself, which I should, but I don't. But it's just, I don't know. I just don't feel, I'd like a little more control over my finances than paying myself and then having to, whatever. Anyway, with that being said, there's 4 of them on there, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. The problem with the government writing a check is we don't have the money. As you know, back in, maybe you don't know, but back in 1993, it was either 92 or 93, a president by the name of William Jefferson Clinton started an alliance with a backwards country where the daily income was about a buck 68 cents a day, and that was China. Okay, and every president after that, until the one we have right now, has echoed and reiterated what William Jefferson Clinton had started, was that China is our ally. China is the future for America. China, 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 China. Well, what I've seen over the last 10 years versus the last 30 years, but in the last 10 years, that China has done 2 things. They are a communist country, just so you all remember. They are a communist country. Don't let anybody fool you. They are communist. And we fought a whole Cold War with communist Russia. Um, communist Russia, who turned China or took over China and set in a communist regime back after World War II, because during World War II and before, we were China's close ally. We defended them. The Flying Tigers were, what do you call it? They were American fighter pilots. Um, Happy Boyington was, I believe, the leader of the Flying Tigers at that time, or at least he flew for the Flying Tigers at that time. And after Japan surrendered, the Russians came in and grabbed up a bunch of ground. A bunch of, as our allies, they did this. They continued to fight. They split the Korean Peninsula and created North Korea, and we stopped them we stopped them, I think, politically, not forcefully, at the whatever 38th parallel, I want to say. That was a really devastating thing for the world today. That happened back in 1945, because now we have Kim Jong Un. But the China problem is China owns our food processing. I believe it's Tyson is now owned by a Chinese company. We grow the chickens here. They put them on a boat. They process them at sea, and then they ship them back to us. And we are eating basically Chinese processed poultry, pork. There's a lot of them that are owned by China. Chinese owned textiles, Chinese owned medications. We don't produce any antibiotics here, or at least the ingredients to produce them. Those are largely made in China, and this all started just 30 short years ago. Okay? So if you don't know, you know now if you watch this channel. So we got this Chinese problem. So the quality of things, the quality of stuff. Okay, so we get components that are made in China and assembled in the United States. I just had a Trimble GPS unit go down, and it says assembled in the United States with Chinese-made parts. Now these are solid state antennas and stuff. Those are American designs put together by cheap labor in China and given to us so that they fail. We used to make shit that lasted a very, 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 very long time that was made here in America. Not just assembled here, just made in America. Your iPhone, my iPhone, made in China. Okay? So, we have shipped all of our stuff overseas to China because it's cheaper to send a boat full of parts and components and raw materials to China to ship a bunch of cheaply made goods back to the United States than it is to actually have factories and stuff here in the United States. Well, now China owns our debt. China owns our debt. Now, the one good thing about Bill Clinton, even though he gutted our military, the one good thing is he had a balanced budget. And I do believe that Bill Clinton was the last president in the United States to actually have a balanced budget. All right? Right now, we don't have a balanced budget. Obama definitely never had a balanced budget. As a matter of fact, I don't think Obama ever got a budget passed. If you remember, there were more government shutdowns due to Obama and running out of money, and he just raised the debt ceiling. Obama raised the debt ceiling to the point where we lost our AAA rating in the world. We were no longer a AAA rated country. So, yeah, and that's something. That's amazing. The people don't realize that. So China owns our debt. Now think about this, and this isn't conspiracy. This is just my thought process. Maybe it is a conspiracy. Donald Trump gets elected. The deep state doesn't like it. They don't like it. They won't give our president. God, where in the hell is my? They won't give our president a one win. Not one. If he says he likes something, they hate it. If he says he hates something, they love it. And it's terrible. The politics is bad. It's lopsided and wrong. But so Donald Trump says, "Hey, China, you're taking advantage of us. This ain't gonna happen anymore." Yay, not gonna happen anymore, right? Yep, okay. So manufacturing starts to come back to the United States, big time, pretty quick. Job growth, wealth, you name it, it's all coming back. Farmers are gonna make more money selling their products to China. China, of course, puts embargoes against the farm goods going to China. Right, we're just going to buy it from Brazil and Argentina, even though Brazil and Argentina don't grow enough to supply China, so they just buy it from the United States. And yippity skippity, our grain is going to China. Just a fact. So that ain't happening either. You're going to buy our grain. Donald Trump gives some farmers a lot of money for the decrease in the price of grain. I never receive any of that stuff. I will be growing corn this year, and of course, I am not going into the Farm Service Agency to beg for those dollars. I'm not a welfare recipient. I'm not going to start now. I was at one time, but I won't no more. My morals won't allow me to. There's only one reason I would go back into the Farm Service Agency, and that is to get a cheap loan to buy the farm that I'm looking at buying, that I've been wanting to buy for years. So, anyway, and that's going to happen. I just don't know if I'll be able to stomach going into that Farm Service Agency to do it. But anyway, with that being said, none of their business anyway. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll figure a way around it. I don't know. So, let's see. Got a damn tire truck in front of me. Okay, let me get my brain back where it belongs. Now, China's not happy with what's going on. They know there's tariffs. We're taking in $150 billion a year. $150 billion a year in tariffs. That's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. On a daily basis, $150 billion changes hands probably every minute of every day. So on the global scale. So you've got this asshole in front of me. Got this $150 billion tariff, and the Chinese aren't happy. The demon rats are definitely not happy because it's making them look bad, like, oh, all our policies have been failing for the last 30 years, so we really can't have this thing work, so we got to do something. Uh-oh. I can't read and drive. I'm actually going about 70 miles an hour down by the Philadelphia International Airport. And every time I drive by this place, in my mind, I think of all the exotic, beautiful places in the world where I would like to fly to. And that's no lie. I'm not exaggerating. I love to travel. I'll just keep talking. Anyways, I love to travel and I love to see things and places. And I would love nothing more than to go to China. I would love to visit the Great Wall of China. I find it to be an incredible feat by man to build these walls. And they're not just one wall, there are many walls. If you know anything about the Great Wall, it's not one wall, there's a bunch of them. And I believe it was to keep the Huns out of China. I'm 99.9% sure of that. But anyway, so that's that. Okay, so China's pissed at us, the demon rats are pissed at us, and as a farmer, just as layman, looking out at the world and thinking, something's got to happen. We can't keep winning without having a check. There's going to be a check. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be a check. So, okay. And Dr. Fauci and Barack Obama have their hand in this check that has happened. Back in 2015, Dr. Fauci petitioned Barack Obama or the Obama administration to send a grant of money to China of 2.2 some billion dollars. That grant went into the Wuhan facility where they were dealing with infectious diseases and viruses. The same Wuhan facility that produced this pandemic that we have right now. It was there, it's been there, it is there. And coronavirus is a man-made disease anyway. Procter & Gamble owns the patent on it. Yes, the patent on coronavirus. It was in animals. And there is an English company that owns the patent on the vaccine that was produced for coronavirus. It's a little different coronavirus than what we have going around today, but I'm pretty sure that vaccine can be modified and it can be injected into human beings to stop the spread of coronavirus. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm not a big I want to get a shot in the ass kind of a guy, but I don't want to spread the coronavirus to my parents or my aunts or anybody that's over my age, anybody older than me with underlying health problems, because I could be the person that kills them inadvertently. So now our economy's rolling along, everybody's investing, the stock market's doing good, and I hear about this disease, the coronavirus in China, and I'm thinking, if that escapes, gets out into the world, it's going to really fuck shit up. And that's the truth. It's going to fuck shit up. So I went to the Philippines while this thing was ramping up. And me and Teresa actually did not do much in the Philippines this year. So we flew from the United States to Taiwan. We didn't sit in a chair. We didn't touch the handrails. We had disinfectant wipes, and we had other things to hand sanitizers and everything else to keep me and my wife and my son healthy. We don't want anybody to get sick and die or even carry this thing back to the United States. So we were very precautious, and we knew that it could become an issue because we've dealt with issues before. SARS, MERS, Ebola. We had them all. They've been here. They are here. They can continue to be here. China lied. China lied. China lied. China lied. They lied about the human to human. They lied about the numbers of people that were infected. They even lied about what they were doing to lock down China so it wouldn't spread. They're liars. And guess who helped them? The World Health Organization. Who? Who helped them? WHO, World Health Organization. Why would they help them? Well, the leader or the guy that runs the World Health Organization just so happens to be an Ethiopian guy who was China's I want in that leadership role. China handpicked this dude from Ethiopia. Now, China only pays like 8% of what the United States pays into the World Health Organization. In my opinion, we pay the most, so we should have the pick in who is in charge of the WHO. The WHO, the World Health Organization. Now, World Health Organization, bought and paid for by China. Even though they pay less than anybody, than us, they got the leader in there. That's their man. That's their guy. So who better to allow this to happen? So China says, Wuhan, you can't travel anymore. You can't go to Beijing. You can't go to Ho Chi Minh, wherever. You can't go there. You can't leave your city. You're infected. Stay there. We don't want it to spread throughout our entire country, right? And that's what happened. But China still allowed international travel. That is a fact. China allowed international travel from Wuhan to anywhere in the world. Donald Trump, and I'm sorry to say this, Democrats, Donald Trump knew this, saw this, and that is when he put a stop to all direct travel from China to the United States. He was also in the middle of an impeachment. So he was looking out at the world and for our country while the demon rats were just impeaching, making up pens, commemorative pens. Look what we did. We're the biggest assholes on the fucking planet. Look what we did. And we've got commemorative memorabilia just for those people who were a part of this shit show. And there it goes. All right? So, Donald Trump shuts down direct travel. Now, there's a problem with this. And I'll tell you what the problem is. He didn't shut down any other travel from any other country other than Iran and maybe Iraq, direct travel from Iraq, or even Palestine. Palestinians, they can't travel here easily, or even Russia. But these people from Wuhan flew to a nice little city called Dubai, or country called Dubai. Okay, Dubai. Dubai. Yeah, Dubai and other European nations. And from there, they hitched a flight to the United States of America. Undetected, undeterred, unchecked. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how China brought our economy to its knees. They knew it was going to be this way. They knew it was going to happen. And at the beginning of this video, in this little rant, I stated that China is a communist country. They don't care about their people. They don't care about other people. They don't care about the United States. Especially the United States pulls them in and says, You're not going to take advantage of us anymore. We built your nation on cheap shit and all this other stuff. We're bringing it home. You can go kiss our ass, but you're going to buy our soybeans and our corn until then, because now the Chinese people have some money and they like poultry, pork, and beef, and they don't like getting off of that diet. They're not going back to rice and beans for the rest of their lives. They like that pork. Okay, so there you go. Now, China knew that it would spread in the United States. They knew that the United States would take an evasive action. They knew that they were going to quarantine, shut down the economy. No more travel to Europe. No more travel from Europe. No more nothing. Oh, except for welfare to people that can't do anything. And now we just hit $3 trillion of new printed money that goes directly against our national debt. They're printing money, printing it. There's nothing to back it. There's no trade going on. There's nothing. This is going to cause negative implications across the world. What happening today is nothing compared to what's going to happen in 4 to 6 months. They're shutting down meat packing plants. They're shutting down all kinds of stuff. Things aren't happening. Things aren't progressing. We're going to have to pay back a national debt of like $15 trillion. We just added $3 trillion to, almost $3 trillion. Might as well say it'll be $3 trillion by the time it's done. I mean, we just got a $498 billion, here's a check for you, and hopefully I get some of that money to pay my guys, or I'm going to have to lay them all off, because the mushroom growers have just really taken a lot of my income away. I mean, take $125 a load. Take $125 a load. Well, that's the deal goes in here, into the truck. But 125, I sell over 300 loads of hay a year. So do the math. 300, just say 300 times 125. So you got 30 some odd $1,000 gone. Yeah. 37,500 if my brain is working. $37,500 gone. Just gone. And it's gone, because I'll never get that back. $37,500 gone. All right. So, yeah. Now, I could have had this hay hauled in to the mushroom barn. But, and I'm going to rag on Carl a little bit here, but I needed to have enough hay to get Carl through to the mid-July, August time frame. I like to be done hauling old hay by June 15th, the end of June, middle of the end of June. And then we start new hay into the mushroom barns around July 1st. Okay, so I wanted Carl to have enough to get us into August, mid-August, so he would have a job while we were baling straw down in North Carolina. So I packed the bales really tight this year. We're putting 24, 25 tons on a load. All right. Today's load was 25 tons. It was 25 tons, just shy of 25 tons. Now, I didn't haul in, so I still have every bit of that hay that Carl would have been hauling through to the August 1st or the middle of August. I still have it, and they just cut $5 a ton off of my hay. So now I have to haul it, which is not. It's okay. I mean, I've hauled before. I mean, I drive. I get up in the morning and I go. But now I can only do 5 loads a week, because it's hard for me to get 2 loads in a day by myself. Now I was going to have Cody get his driver's license and start hauling as well, but the problem is the driving school shut down. New Jersey's Division of Motor Vehicles is shut down. It's all shut down. So that money's gone. It's gone on let's see, May, June, July, August. So we're looking at for 20, 40, 60, 70, 70 loads. 70 loads. So I lost $5 a ton on 70 loads. That's what I've lost. Now the good thing is diesel fuel's cheaper. Still doesn't offset, but it's cheaper. So I'm kind of a little upset about that. So that's where Carl fucked me there. So I don't know. I hope the guy that he's working for loses $5 a ton, which he will, because I know who he's hauling for now. And yeah, so I hope it puts a hurting on his ass as well. No, I don't know. It is what it is. I guess I'm done talking about myself. Let's get on to Plant 2020. All right, like I said earlier in the video, planting is at a standstill. I haven't planted anything but grass seed. This morning it was 43 degrees. 43 degrees. That's not conducive to planting corn in my area. We have heavy clay soils with a lot of springs in our fields. So even though areas of the fields are dry, there are large areas that are wet. Now, when every single seed counts, is that just spit? When every single seed counts, you've all got you move on now. When every single seed counts, you can plant the field perfectly, but when you get to those wet spots where that soil is just cold and wet, that seed's not going to grow. You might as well go out there with an old planter from the 1940s where you still had a wire you had to run out across the field and you planted on 40-inch rows, that sort of shit. So there. It just doesn't matter how good your planter is at that point because soil conditions aren't right. So my projected corn planting will be May 10th. May 10th. I need warm soils, dry soil with no wet spots that is going to fuck me up on acres instead of quarter acres. You're going to have a quarter acre here and a quarter acre there and come up with a couple of acres that's not so good. Or you go out, get it in early and have an acre and a half here and an acre and a half there and an acre and a half over there. Before you know it, your profitability is out the window. You could take a field of corn that could average 200 bushels to the acre and bring it right down to 125, just like that. Just like that. Boom, just like that. Because in those wet spots, the bushels to the acre are 0. And if you have 5 acres, 5 acres, that is just total disaster. That's 0. And 5 acres out of 100, there's 5 acres, and 2 times 5 is 10. There's 1,000 bushels. You can really just take 1,000 bushels out of 100 acres like that. 1,000 bushels, right now, $3,000. Yeah. So, and there goes your profitability. Gone. That's right. Now, I like planting corn. I can't wait. I'm pretty happy about it. And I'm watching some other farming YouTube channels, and I found a guy here. What is it? Dodge Brothers? Dodge Brothers? What a nice channel. I really liked it. I liked his message. He was upfront in saying that, hey, it's me and my brother. My little brother. He called him his little brother. I don't know. I haven't seen his little brother. I only watched a couple of videos. But they were planting corn, and he says, this isn't my equipment. We both work full time for other farmers, and we ranch. We have cattle and a hay business. What a nice channel. So, and I hope he does well. Dodge Brothers. I hope they do well. The Dodge Brothers something or the farming channel. Great, good channel. Check it out. Check it out. It is a good channel. Seems like a nice guy. But here again, the vast majority of people don't plant with that much technology. That is, I like the technology, don't get me wrong. I can't afford it to grow a couple hundred acres of corn. I'd have to be growing at least 2,000 acres of corn to justify all that technology. What it would be really awesome, though, would be to take my old corn planter, that 7,000, and see if Precision has those electric uh, meter motors and convert a 45-year-old corn planter into a machine that has the accuracy of a brand new one. Even though I have precision meters, they're finger meters, you have to go pretty slow, 4 to 5 miles per hour. Uh, yeah, I think it would be awesome to do that and show that and say, hey, for the fraction of the cost, you could go out and buy a $3,500 corn planter, put 10,000 into it, which I've got about $8,000 into that corn planter in new parts. It's completely rebuilt. Those boys, the boys that owned it before, man, they were hard ass on that shit. That poor corn planter looks like it was rode hard every day and put up wet. I mean, that was used more than the local prostitute. And I'll tell you what, I'm pretty proud of the way it turned out. Now, we'll see how it plants. But wouldn't it be pretty damn awesome? I gotta get around this guy. He's just driving me fucking crazy. Practice social distancing, stay home, and limit travel. Yeah. How about we call this physical distancing instead of social distancing? Because I'm socializing with all you guys, all them Kentucky boys. They had mud, Kentucky mud. I bet I got a wheelbarrow of Kentucky mud out of the closing or the depth gauge wheels on that corn planter. So I got in that corn planter, I got about $12,000 into that corn planter. All new seed tubes, seed firmers. I didn't have to replace them all. I replaced like 4. What else did I do? Meters replaced. I don't know. I replaced quite a few of all the belts, seed belts, a couple of plates, all the backing plates that weren't precision got replaced. I did a lot of work to it. Now I could take it a step further and pull out the shafts, put in electric motor drives, but then I would need to spend probably another $5,000 to $8,000 on the precision planting monitor and control unit, which I don't know the pricing on it. It could be more, it could be less. I don't know, but I could probably tie up another $15,000 into that corn planter so I can grow $2 corn. Isn't that crazy? It's just insanity. You know, I look at these corn planters and I'm like, you paid $250,000 for that for $2.50 corn? Are you fucking crazy? I mean, are you fucking crazy? So, I don't know. It isn't going to pay unless you're doing 10,000 acres at that point because the profit margin is so thin you couldn't get the thinnest feeler gauge in between there. Right now with corn, the only reason I'm growing corn is because I got a third option, or a second option. My second option is corn fodder. Now I watched Millennial Farmer's video and he says we don't bale off the corn stalks because we need those nutrients. I agree. But in my third, oh, for fuck's sakes, people, 45 fucking mile an hour in the middle of the road, and I can't get around them. Social distancing. How about you want to live? Come on, either move or get out of the fucking way. Anyway, okay. Okay, so, all right, let me get back to this. I have the fodder deal. Okay, so the fodder deal, right now it's paying $85 to $95 a ton. I'm gonna push this corn not for the grain itself because grain basically is pretty worthless. This dude, he's got it right. He's just breaking all laws, and I agree with him. I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna get in this fast lane, break a fucking law, risk losing my driver's license just to get around this fucking egg timer that doesn't know how to drive in the slow lane. There is a slow lane. Oh, he sped up. Sped up. Unbelievable. Put it up to 65 just so that he could, prove a point that he's got a car that accelerates faster. Jackass. Anyway, I'm done with that. Anyway, yeah, okay. What was I talking about? Oh, $2.50. All right, so I get this fodder job. N. I see N. Okay, so I'm expecting between 3 and 4 tons the acre. So if I get 3 tons to the acre, we're looking at, $280, $280 an acre off of that ground. Now, I will replace the organic material. Now, I'm not knocking Zach Johnson. He's right. You do really should leave as much residue and put as much residue into the ground as you can. But I need to piece this apart. Now, I get spent compost. Spent compost comes out of the mushroom barn. And guess what it has in it? More organic matter than you could ever expect. So if I take 3 tons of corn stalks off of the fields, right, I'm going to use less nitrogen to break those stalks down because it takes a lot of nitrogen to break those corn stalks down. So if you're looking for a 200, 250 bushel yield, you're going to have to put somewhere around 300 units of nitrogen on that ground just to break down the corn stalks that are produced from a 200 to 250 bushel yield. It takes a lot of nitrogen to break those stalks down because if you don't, and which is good, I mean, you can use nitrogen to break the stalks down to release the NP or the P and K and the other micronutrients that are there, or you can do what I'm doing and get the spent compost, put 3 to 5 tons to the acre on, get your P, K, and all the trace elements that are in the spent compost for the cost of hauling and a spreader and the time to put it down. Now, I did this last year in a limited supply. I spread about 15 loads of compost on the home farm, and I was totally blown away as to the yield of hay that I got. We made 2 beautiful cuttings off of the home farm, and I'll tell you what, I made money on that stuff. So I just got done spreading about 60 loads of this stuff um, on the corn ground, and I have the plan is to grow the corn, good corn, shred the stalks, bale the stalks, cover the stalks, and oh yeah, 60 semi loads, 60 25-ton loads. That's what I spread. I was putting about 12 to 14 tons of material in that spreader every load. Go over and put it on 2 acres. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, a lot. So in dry material, I was actually getting 4 to 5 tons of dry material onto the acre. So this corn is fed. It has more organic matter on it now than before I would take the fodder off. So that's where I'm going with that. I can take that fodder off, add organic matter, and get all my P and K and nitrogen as well from the spent compost. And there, Bob's your uncle. There it is. Bob's your uncle. So that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to grow corn profitably. Now, I'm going to put on 225 units of nitrogen on my corn. That's where I'm going to be with the nitrogen. The simple reason I'm putting 220 units of nitrogen in the corn is I don't want to run out of nitrogen late in the season when it's developing grain. Well, it's developing grain. I don't have the equipment to go in and top dress over top of 8-foot corn or 10-foot corn, 8-foot corn when I get back in July. When I get back in July, the corn should be somewhere around my 6 to 8 feet tall. Should be at that point. The sweet corn will be ready to pick and everything. So I want it all on all at once, and I'm going to bind to that nitrogen a little bit with copper sulfate. I've done this in the past, and it works really well. Copper sulfate is a natural fungicide, and it also is because of the sulfate. It's got sulfur, copper, and sulfur. Copper sulfate, and I believe there's some nitrogen in that as well, but not a hell of a lot. Anyways, that copper will actually bind the nitrogen. It won't bind the nitrogen. It actually is a microbicide. If you put too much on, it'll have a negative effect on your crop. So you really only want to put about a pound of copper sulfate to the acre, and that will tie up that nitrogen and allow it to not release too fast, therefore carrying it through the season. And it will also allow the compost to break down a little further. But anyway, I've been yakking for too damn long. My dad has called me twice, and I'm going to have to answer that phone call. So, thanks for being here, guys. And you know what? If you haven't subscribed, it's free. Just hit the subscribe button. If you don't see the subscribe button, that means you don't have a channel. You don't need to upload anything to have your own channel, but you do need to have a channel, or channel name, to be able to subscribe. So subscribe to this channel. Helps me out. You hit the thumbs up if you liked what you heard. And Plant 2020 is still 2 to 3 weeks away for me as far as corn is concerned. So there you go. Thanks again for being here. Have a great day. I'm going to go home and, I don't know, eat something because I'm damn hungry. My wife's making me fat, but I'm hungry. Damn it.